I am surrounded by unfinished objects. You want to see what they are? Then stick around. Hello everyone, welcome to Creatively Crafty Me. I am Charlena, and today I just want to show y'all all the projects that I currently have in the works, because I have quite a few projects that I am currently working on and am really trying to complete. So I figured I would show y'all some of these projects here now and hold myself accountable to getting all these projects finished and out of the whip pile. Firstly, I had did a small Hobby Lobby haul back when the clearance event was going on, and I had purchased 6 skeins of this yarn bee cozy with a twist yarn. And I was saying that I wanted to try and make some loaf cats with it. So I did purchase the pattern for the loaf cats. So I purchased this cute loaf cat pattern off of Etsy. It is a pattern by Annie Caraway to make the loaf cats. And I am not that great at making amigurumis, however you say it, but I'm not that great with making stuffed animals. But I keep trying and I haven't given up, and I tried my hand at these loaf cats. So let me show you the first loaf cat I made. So I made this loaf cat here. I don't know if you can hear it, but I put a little rattler inside because I figured if nothing else, my granddaughter could play with this. And he's not horrible, but he's not that great. But poor little loaf cat, this one looks like he has a toothache. This side of his mouth, this side of his face is a little more chunky than the rest of his body. So this was the first one that I made. I made this one with this yarn here. This is Hobby Lobby Baby Bee Sugar Pom Pom yarn. And I wanted to just try it and give it a go. So I started with this loaf cat here. His little tail is so cute. But yes, I made this one, and the whiskers are supposed to be a little different, if you can see in the pattern. But I just wanted my whiskers to look like that. So that's how I made this one. And it wasn't perfect. I struggled a little bit, but I kept going. I said, okay, this one is complete. It's not perfect. I want to give it another go. So I did. And I actually made a second one. I think this one is a little better than that one. So they are so cute. The tails on these are so cute. I did actually make this loaf cat with this cozy with a twist yarn. And he's not bad. He's not horrible. He's really not. I struggled a little with the little feet. But I don't know. I thought he came out really good. He's not bad at all. But I still wanted to give it another go because I was like, okay, so I got this one. He's not horrible, but maybe I can actually get it right. And unfortunately, I didn't get it perfect. So I made a final one. This one is not complete. He doesn't have a tail, and he's not perfect either because I actually messed up his feet in comparison to his ears and his face, but I love how this one turned out regardless, because I decided to add some extra yarn, some extra rolls, sorry. I decided to add some extra rolls to make him just a little bit bigger. So he's just a tiny bit bigger than this one. And I kind of overstuffed it so that his face isn't so flat. And I know that's one of the features that make the loaf cat so cute, is that it looks like a loaf of bread. But I really enjoy how this one turned out a little better. So he's a little bigger, a little more pudgy, and his face is a little fuller. And I used larger eyes. Now, I honestly have no idea what size eyes these are. I was just putting on eyes that I had in my stash. Even though I had purchased some eyes, they weren't the right size, so I added eyes that I already had. And then I made this one and I added these larger eyes, and I really think that this one looks so much better. I think he is just so adorable and so cute. So he does still need a tail. And I still do, as you can see, have plenty of yarn. It did take an entire skein of this yarn to make one loaf cat, but I had a total of 6. So I have these 2 left, and I still have another like partially used skein of yarn. I had also attempted to make like a really big loaf cat because I was wanted it to be a really large cat, like almost the size of a small pillow, but it didn't come out right, and I started taking that one apart to make this guy. So this is one of the projects that I have currently in the works, and he is almost done. Like I said, he only needs his tail, and then this project will be complete. But I still have this colorway of yarn that I also wanted to try to make a loaf cat with. So that is going to be the next loaf cat that I make. I'm going to make it with this colorway here. This one is called Partly Cloudy, this colorway. The colorway of this yarn was apricot in the moment. So I do plan on making another loaf cat in this colorway here. So that is one project that I have going on. But before I start this next loaf cat, I do plan on finishing some of these other projects that I have in the works. The next project I want to share with y'all is a project that y'all have already seen. It is my Christmas granny square blanket from my mom. I was up in the air, like I was undecided of what I wanted to actually do with this blanket. If I wanted it to just end with this white yarn, or if I wanted to add more rows and add another color to the end. And I decided that I did want to add this red yarn. This is simply a Premier Basic yarn in the colorway red. And I actually am pleased with the red yarn on the end. So I am glad that I decided to add the red yarn. I'm still not finished. Yeah, I think I want to finish this off with a scalloped border, but there is still quite a bit of yarn left. So I'm thinking maybe I will add another row of the red and then add the scallop border so that I can actually just use up as much of this yarn as I possibly can. It is almost all gone, but I figured why not just finish the skein of yarn out since it won't be that much left once I add the scallop border. So this is another project that I have finally decided what I'm going to do with and that I am trying to finally complete. So yeah, so this is what it's looking like so far with the red border, and then with the, so this is what it's looking like so far with me adding the rows of red, and I do plan on just adding the scallop border, weaving my ends, and then this will be a completed project. So I'll be glad to get this off the hooks because this is something that is so close to being finished. And yeah, there's no reason why it's not done since I have decided what I want to do. So I am going to get back to work on this blanket here so that I can like wash it. I do put blankets made with just basic acrylic yarn in the washing machine and just to wash them up, but I laid them out flat to dry and I pin them down so that they will have a nice shape. So I am excited to be done with this blanket, get it washed, blocked, and then I'm just going to give it on to my mom. I'm not going to wait until Christmas to give it to her because I want her to have it when she's decorating for Christmas. So that is something else I want. So that is something else that I'm looking very much forward to getting off my hooks and being done with. I also started another project. I am not very far along with this project, but I am getting it done. In my last video, I showed y'all the yarn that I bought during the Christmas in July event and said that I wanted to make a blanket with that yarn. So there is a blanket by Repeat Crafter Me called like the Christmas character blanket. So you make a panel. So you make 4 panels, and one is a reindeer, one is a Santa Claus, one is a snowman, one is an elf. I just thought that was such a cute blanket as something to just kind of throw over the arm of the couch, something really cute to make. So I did start that, and here is what I have so far. Now, mine is going to be a little bigger than the original blanket because I did work up the brown panel with the H hook that was recommended. I did work up this brown panel and the H hook that was recommended, and it just wasn't large enough for me. So I tore that out, I frogged that, and I started the panel again. This is all single crochet. So this blanket is made with all single crochets, but because I wanted mine a little bigger, I had said, well, let me try to make it go a little bit faster. So I tried making it with an extended single crochet. And I made that panel and felt like I liked the fabric that the single crochets made better than how it looked with the extended single crochets. So I frogged all that again and started anew and just started it with a longer chain to make a longer panel. So if I'm not mistaken, the blanket is supposed to be like 35 inches by 40 inches. I'm trying to shoot for a blanket that's about 42 inches by 45 inches, but I'm not really sure which way the measurements for the blanket was, but this would be the length of the blanket, and then I'm going to make my panels longer. And I did kind of look through the pattern to see if I used up the majority of this yarn, would it be an issue? Like, would I then run out of yarn to finish the other panels? But the way it looks is, the way I can see it is I should be okay because with this brown yarn, I would just need a little bit extra to make the ears. And with the red yarn, I would need like a little bit extra to make the Santa hat as well as the like the scarf on the snowman. But I also feel like I should definitely have some yarn in my stash that I could just add to the character parts of the blanket. And if all else fails, I'm honestly not opposed to running out and grabbing a skein of yarn to finish off one of the panels. So I am definitely going to use almost all this skein to make the panel of this so that it can be a little larger for my liking, even though it's just something that I really just want to use for decoration to like toss over the arm of the chair. But yeah, so I went through making this one panel 3 times. I've made this one panel 3 times. If I would have stuck to the pattern, I would have been on the snowman already. But I didn't, and I'm not upset about it. I'd rather have something that I'm going to enjoy owning than something that I'm looking at saying, dang, I wish that I made it a little bit bigger, or I wish that I had changed this or changed that. So yeah, so that is that. I remade this panel 3 times and I'm honestly not upset about it. So I have this going on. I really want to work through this as quickly as possible. I really want to work through this blanket as quickly as possible because I am trying to design another blanket that I'm not going to show y'all here yet because I don't have it exactly how I want it to look, but I'm really excited about that particular project. And I want to be able to devote quite a bit of time to that project. Okay, so another thing that I'm going to work on, I haven't actually even started it, is I decided to enter the mystery yarn challenge, of course, because I always enter the mystery yarn challenge. But this time I decided to enter the scrap yarn challenge as well as the challenge where you make something with mystery yarn. And I have gathered all my skeins of yarn together and have decided what I want to make with this. I do feel like this will be a project that's going to work up relatively quick because what I want to make is a granny square bag, like a little, like a crossbody bag that I can carry some things in. And I think the colors are really pretty that I chose for my little scrap yarn project. I chose the yarn before the project, but I think that it would be a really cute bag. So I have all these colors. I'm only going to take out the colors that, because some of the balls are exactly the same, just extra balls. Like this is that same color. Uh, let's see if I can hold them all up to show y'all. And then I have this, which is nothing but the same color as that. Then I have this brown and this one. Now this is the only one that I'm kind of concerned might not go that well in this scrap yarn project. But I had already chosen my yarns and I'm going to stick with what I chose. So even though this hasn't started yet, this is a project I feel like I could work through relatively quick and easy. I don't think this bag will take me that long to make, even though I have no idea what order I want the colors to go in. I do feel like I'm going to just have to start it with, based on the amount of yarn. Like I don't have a lot of this color, so this will probably be the center of my bag. Yeah, so that is something that I am going to try to get started, get finished with, and knock it out super, super quick because I want to get all these things complete. And that's not the only project I got going. While I put this back, I don't actually have a real time frame for when I want to get these projects all complete. I just want to get them all done pretty quickly and pretty soon because my blanket that I have that I'm trying to do, I feel like it's going to take me an extremely, extremely long time to finish. And I want to have that blanket finished by the beginning of December. So I want to get all this out of the way. But let me show you what else I have. So I wish that I could tell y'all what yarn this is, but I don't remember and I don't have the label. But I had been organizing my yarn, like going through all of my yarn, and I put all the 4-weight yarn in one container, all the 3-weight yarns in one container, and then all the other like mixture of yarns I had in one container. And when I saw this yarn, I thought about making a project for my daughter. Yeah, my daughter loves the Grinch. And even though this is not the perfect shade for the Grinch, this just made me think of Grinch green. And I was like, this would be a perfect yarn to make her some dishcloths with. So I just whipped up. Yeah, I thought this would be a perfect yarn to make her some dishcloths with and a Grinch theme, quote unquote. And so I just whipped them up. I made two. I made this one here, which it seems to be like the theme of the stitch that I'm using lately, in just a single crochet. And then I made a border, and I always like to add like a little loop so that it could be hung up. So this one is in a single crochet, and this one is in extended single crochet. I've been doing a lot of projects with single crochet lately. But yeah, so I made this cloth with a single crochet, this one with an extended single crochet. So they're not the same size. The one with the extended single crochet is a little bigger than the single crochet. But what I want to do with these cloths, which is why these are not finished, is I thought it would be fun to add some Grinch eyes to one of them. So I have these two skeins of cotton yarn. I have this Yarn Bee Fundamental Cotton. Wait, I have this Yarn Bee Fundamental Cotton yarn, and this one is in the colorway Canary, and this one is just in the colorway Black. And I thought it would be cute to make up some Grinch eye appliques basically and add to one of the cloths. So I want to add some Grinch eyes to one of the cloths. And then I thought what would be cute would be to add just the word Grinch to one of the cloths as well. And I think I'm just going to just add the word Grinch with this black yarn here. So I just think that would be really, really cute to give her a set of dishcloths with that a Grinch theme that she could use during Christmas time when she's decorating, because she decorates with the Grinch a lot. And yeah, add one with the word Grinch, one with Grinch eyes, and it would just be really cute. So I do have a little bit of this yarn left. I'm thinking this should be enough yarn to make another cloth, or at least a smaller cloth, and then I could kind of take y'all along with me while I make the cloth so that y'all can make y'all a cloth with Grinch eyes too. I don't think I will be able to show you how to put the Grinch word on the cloth. I think that would be too difficult for me to try to explain, but I definitely think I could show you how to make the Grinch eye appliques once I figure out how I want to make them, and then how to add it to the cloth. And just take you along with me while I make another cloth. It'll probably be a small cloth because that's all of that yarn that I have left, but that is also another project that I'm trying to get out of the way because I really want this project done, because this is a project that I want to complete. All of these are projects that I want to complete. Not that I want to just be done with them and get them out the way, but they are projects that I would like to complete. Like, I want to see them in their finished form. So I have that. And then another thing that I want to get done, but it's not a real priority if I get it finished before I finish that blanket. But I would like to get it done. It's in this bag here. And this bag is full. And the crazy thing is, this is a project that can really have been finished. But let me just put this down here. But I just don't have the mental capacity, or I really just don't want to take the time to lay them out. But I want to get this blanket done. This is my hexie blanket. Oh, let me get the pattern for you. Oh, it's in this little bag here. This is a blanket from Christmas time, basically. So this is the blanket that I was making. It's very hexie blanket. And I was making it with the yarn from my Crochet Society Advent box from 2023. And I just never finished it. I have all of the hexies done. Every single hexie is complete. So I made 25 hexies from the 25 skeins of yarn that came in that Christmas Advent box. So I have all the colored hexies done. I did them all 25 of the colored hexies. Then I did all the half hexies that needed to be done. I completed all the half hexies. I have the yarn to actually sew them all together, and I kept all the little scraps of yarn that was left over from me doing the hexie the size that I wanted, because I didn't know if I wanted to stitch them together with the yarn that came with the box, or if I wanted to stitch them together with that yarn. And then I also have maybe, I don't even remember how many of these there are, but however many hexies I needed, I have all of the hexies completed to complete this blanket. All I need to do is lay them out, decide how I want my colors to work through my blanket, and then stitch them together. What I have not been able to get done, what I haven't felt like doing, is taking the time to lay all the hexies out in the order that I would like them laid out and actually stitch them together. That is literally all I have to do, is stitch the hexies together. I feel like that's the easiest part of the blanket, but it's the hardest part for me to deal with right now. I just did not have the mindset to sit down and lay them out and decide how I want it to look. But I would like to get this complete because I did purchase the Crochet Society Advent Calendar for 2024. Oh, and also let me say, the blanket that I'm making is not the blanket that was designed for the Crochet Society Advent Box for 2023. You could have made a blanket like a granny square blanket with a bunch of appliques on it, or you could have made a bunch of stuffed animals. And I didn't like any of those projects, so I decided I was going to go rogue with my yarn and make what I want. But I still wanted to stick with the Crochet Society projects because this is one of the booklets from the Crochet Society box that I received. So I just chose to make this very hexy blanket because I really liked this blanket when I saw it. So I thought, get those 25 yarns. It would be a perfect little blanket to make this hexie with. I did have to buy, this additional yarn, but I just picked out a beige DK weight yarn that I felt the weight would go well with the weight of the yarns from the Crochet Society box, and that's what I went with. So yeah, that is what I made with the yarns from the 2023 box, even though it's not complete. And I want to complete it because I did order the Crochet Society Advent box for 2024. And I don't want to have 2 boxes worth of yarn just sitting around not finished. Oh, you know what? Let me show you the blanket from 2022 because I did complete the blanket from 2022 and I have that because I kept that blanket for myself. That blanket literally stays out over the arm of my chair in my living room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I never put that blanket away. I really love that blanket. And I did do the blanket from 2021, but I gave that blanket to my daughter for my granddaughter, so I can't show you that blanket. But I do want to show you the other blanket that I do want to show you the blanket from 2022 since we're talking about it. And right now, I'm not sure what the blanket for 2024 is going to look like. They do offer you a sneak peek. I haven't looked at it yet. So, but I still bought the box. I still bought the Advent because I love I love that Advent. So, and I happen to really love this yarn, and I'm sure this particular yarn is going to be in that box because it's been in the box for the last number of years. But anyway, let me get the other blanket to show y'all real quick. So I may try and give y'all a full look at this blanket, but right now we're just going to go with showing you like so. So you did make a bunch of what do you call these? Color work squares, like granny squares. So there were several different ones. And I did change mine up a little bit, of course, because I'm me. And I needed my blanket to work for me. So I did change up the order in which the squares were supposed to be connected with this blanket. And I feel like I also maybe changed up the colorways of some of the squares. But anywho, so this is how the blanket from the previous year from 2021 look like. This blanket honestly was quite a bit of work too, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process. And yeah, so I want to say the way the blanket was supposed to be sewn together was like all the beiges was together, all the beige squares were together, and all the burgundy squares was together, and so on. But I don't really remember. Anywho, I put mine together in a way that I would enjoy. Yeah, so I order the advent calendar every year. I didn't get the very, very first one because we couldn't get it here in the States, but I wanted it. I did want it. But I ordered a Crochet Society advent calendar every year, and I enjoy working with the yarns. But unfortunately, I did not like the projects that was offered with last year boxes. So I went rogue and I started my own blanket, and I never finished it. This is something I would definitely like to get done before I receive this year's Crochet Society box. But if I don't, I may be a little disappointed. I really feel like I would be disappointed, but it's not something that I feel like, oh, I have to get that done. It's not something that I want to get off the hooks. It literally has a home. It literally has a home. It lives in this project bag, and everything I need for it is in the bag. All the colors. I would like to get this case back though. I'll be honest, this came in one of the Crochet Society boxes. This is my favorite Notion pouch. I really love this one, but I have it in here with this project, and it's going to stay in there until this is done. And I also have, well, I put the little book inside this little bag. And what is in here? Oh, more of the beige yarn for the bag, yeah, more of that beige yarn for this project. But yeah, look at that. Everything is done. No, no exaggeration. All the squares are done. And they're just stacked in here. And I'm going to take the time to lay it out. I'm probably just going to maybe put them on the floor because, I mean, I guess I could do it on a bed. I don't know, but I need a space large enough to be able to lay all of these down because I feel like this is going to be a very large blanket. I have no idea how large this blanket is going to be when it's done, but I do want to get this one done so that when I get this year's Crochet Society box, this is no longer a whip. I want it to be a finished project. Okay, so I think that is everything that I am actively working on or want to get started working on, minus my mystery yarn project. But yeah, I do still have many, many whips left. Many, many whips left. One of the biggest whips that I have that I am never going to give up on, but it's just a lot of work, is my Sophie Universe blanket. I am so excited to have that blanket finished, but I don't dedicate a lot of time to working on that blanket because it's a blanket that I realize I have to be hyper focused on to work on. And I'm usually doing other stuff while crocheting. I'm having conversations, listening to an audiobook, watching YouTube on TV, watching a movie, hanging out with the family. You know, I'm doing other things, and I really feel like when I'm working on that Sophie Universe blanket, I have to be on that Sophie Universe blanket. But I am excited to bring that back one day. One day, I don't know when, but one day I am going to bring that back, and it's going to be a completed project. I don't know when that's going to be. That blanket was supposed to be finished last year. I very rarely touch that blanket, so I've only worked on that blanket a handful of times this year. But it's still something, it's still one of my favorite whips. It's still one of my favorite whips, and something that I am really, really excited to be done with one day, because I'm not going to be finished with that anytime soon. But anyway, yeah, outside of that whip, all the other whips, they could just sit by the wayside, and I'll get to them when I get to them. They're whips for a reason. They're whips for a reason. I just fell out of love with making those, I guess. I don't know what happened with those other whips, but I do have other whips. I do have other whips. And one day I will get to those whips, but today ain't that day. Today ain't that day. But okay, guys, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me. Do come back, stick around to see what else I have going on, and I will talk to you in the next video. Okay, bye.